Good evening. Tens of thousands of Queenslanders have lined the Brisbane River and South Bank to catch a glimpse of the Queen. Sharon Godella is at South Bank. Sharon, Her Majesty was only here for a few short hours, but she certainly made a big impression.
Yes, Rod, it was Her Majesty's 8th visit to Queensland and arguably her most important. She wanted to come here to pay tribute to the victims and heroes of our summer of disaster, and Queensland responded with warmth and enthusiasm. A royal taxi for the Queen. Regal One touched down just after 11 for Her Majesty's brief visit to Brisbane. There was a curtsy from Queensland Governor Penelope Wensley, a bow and welcome handshake from Premier Bligh. Then straight into the motorcade for the short trip to Brett's Wharf. There was heavy security and crowds of well-wishers eager to catch a glimpse. The Queen paused to say hello, then with excitement building along the river, Her Majesty and Prince Philip boarded pure adrenaline. A royal wave and they were headed downstream. There'd be no flotilla. All other river traffic was stopped for security. Every vantage point along the way was packed.
We're very much looking forward to seeing her today, so we've tried to pick the best vantage point.
9 months ago, the angry river brought heartache to Brisbane. Today, the Queen saw firsthand how quickly this city bounced back.
The whole CBD is shut down.
Passing landmarks and underneath landmarks, Queensland showed its goodwill to our head of state. Thousands lined South Bank reclaiming the land the floodwaters took in January and cheered as she pulled in at the wheel of Brisbane. 23 years after opening Expo 88, the Queen returned to a very different South Bank. 45,000 cheered as one. The Queen would have been sweltering in her pistachio jacket. The Junior Palace Guard, offering a royal salute, kept his cool.
I said that welcome to Queensland.
The walk was only 200 metres, but the Queen took her time, showing special attention to the children allowed inside the barricades to hand over their flowers. Thousands more watched live coverage.
I'm not sure how people from back here, way back here at the in the middle of the QPAC building actually got to see. I'm not sure what they saw of her, but it is nice to be in the presence of royalty.
It wasn't all public. Behind closed doors at QPAC, the Queen met disaster victims, talking with them, connecting. For people who'd lost everything, even loved ones, it meant so much.
She's such a lovely lady. She just reminded me of my nan so much. She was so polite. She took her time in talking to us. It was really good. I loved it.
Lone Pine Sanctuary was badly damaged by the floods. Today, the Queen met 2 of its koalas on her way to Open Rainbank.
It was with great sadness that I followed the terrible consequences this past January of your normally peaceful river rising up and overwhelming this popular public space. The loss and destruction was harrowing to see.
The Premier spoke for Queensland.
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, your visit today is so deeply appreciated.
There was praise for the way Queenslanders overcame disaster.
Today, Prince Philip and I have been greeted with great warmth and good humour in the true Australian spirit. And I have seen the fortitude, ingenuity and determination of the people of Brisbane.
The speech was brief, but touched those who were there.
Well, Rod, I can tell you it was certainly very warm down here at South Bank today, and people had queued for a very long time to see the Queen, but there were no complaints. Many people impressed with the Queen and her genuine concern for Queenslanders and the heartache they've suffered.
A big boost for people. Thank you, Sharon Godella, live from South Bank.
Well, the first time the Queen visited here in 1954, the tour lasted 10 days. This time it was over in 4.5 hours. So the race was on to get a good vantage point. For someone who's been doing this for almost 6 decades, the Queen can still pull a crowd.
The best spots were taken long before dawn, eager crowds ready for a long wait.
5 or 6 hours.
We got here at 4:15.
We left home at 3.
Left home at 3.
Yeah, from Casino, Lismore, come up on the train.
This is the 8th time the Queen's been here. Many who'd seen her before were especially keen for another chance.
4 times. I saw her first in Lismore in 1954 and I was 16.
But for others, this was once in a lifetime. The Queen and Prince Philip may not be back again.
At least I can say to her when she's older, she's seen the Queen, although she'll probably be asleep.
Like really excited.
Couldn't sleep last night.
This wasn't just a chance to see a head of state, but a role model.
Why is she awesome? Because she's... How many women do you know at that age still work the amount that she does? She's an inspiration to women worldwide.
On both sides of the river, crowds filled parks to catch sight of the Royal Cruiser, a sea of faces on a river turned from tragedy to joy.
I'm not a royalist, but she's our queen, you know, so I thought it'd be nice.
Who could forget what it was like here just 9 months ago when the Brisbane River was a scene of devastation and despair? Today, it's all about celebration, royal recognition of a river reborn. The fleeting visit brought much of the city to a standstill. Among the tens of thousands at South Bank, just a handful had an opportunity like this.
I said, "Hi, Your Majesty," and gave her a curtsy.
We got here about 10:30 and I thought we wouldn't have a chance to get anywhere near the place.
The combination of a long wait, hot sun, pressing crowds and regal anticipation proved too much for many. A steady flow of those overcome sought help from ambulance officers. But nothing was going to keep Gwen Cooney from her magic moment. When she spoke to Her Majesty, she had the evidence of their last encounter 57 years ago.
This is when I first saw the Queen in 1954, when I was a 7-year-old schoolgirl.
And a day as special as this can make you believe that anything's possible.
I wonder if I'll see her next time.
Neil Warren, 7 News.
Away from the screaming crowds, 200 people who were touched by Queensland's summer of disasters had a private reception with the Queen. Numbers were kept to a minimum so the royals could have a personal word with as many as possible.
This reception was at the heart of today's royal visit to Brisbane. Away from the adoring public, a chance to pay personal tribute to the resilience of those who were devastated by the summer's floods.
It's given them just something, you know, light-hearted to think about rather than trying to get money out of their houses.
And cyclones. As well as those who helped pick up the pieces.
I'll never forget it.
Danny Maguire lost his wife and 2 children when they were trapped in a fire truck at Grantham. 8-year-old Zach survived.
This to me, yeah, it's nice, but yeah, it's something for Zach to remember.
Typically for a group of Australians used to giving so much for others, there was also concern for their visitor.
I just asked how she was, you know, because of the heat today and that. I thought, you know, it would be hard for her, but she's coping really well, she said.
Lynette and John Lynch's Fernvale home was hit twice by floodwaters in January. She was overwhelmed at getting to meet the monarch.
I've met the Queen, you know. I've met the Queen. So, yeah, I don't know.
While she struggled to describe her encounter, Lynette was sure of one thing.
Just something to tell the grandchildren and to brag. You know, brag a lot, I think, yeah.
Fig Tree Pocket couple Chris and Nadia Hudson weren't sure what to expect today.
It certainly gave us a lift, and I mean, we're not royalists or anything.
Which made it hard when it came to the introduction.
See, I was only going to do a bow, but I did the curtsy.
You couldn't help yourself. Well, we noticed people on the other side.
Well, everybody was curtsying. I thought, OK, I'll do the curtsy. Unpractised, but it went down well.
She did receive a compliment on it.
When the reception was being planned, the palace insisted that numbers be kept to a minimum so the royal couple could meet as many flood victims and emergency service workers as possible. Almost 5 hours after they arrived, the royal couple boarded their RAAF jet and headed back to Canberra. Patrick Condry, 7 News.